time for the Cummins Real Estate Group show with, of course, the one and only Michele Cummins. How are you doing, Michele?
I am excellent, Curtis. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's been a little damp, a little soggy. I guess you aren't able to get that motorbike out for a last ride or two this fall.
No, and was it Friday, I think, Thursday was a sunny, not sunny. It was clear, and so I planned on taking my bike to go to all my appointments, but it was so windy, and, I didn't want to mess the hair up, so I didn't take it out. But I know it's insured until in November, and so, I'm hoping for another clear day between now and then, but I did have a very enjoyable last ride the last sunny day we had, and I did all my listing appointments and everything on it. Oh, it's so fun. I can't believe how much I enjoy it.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, come on. It's like you love to ride horses. Now you're riding a whole bunch of horsepower.
That's right. And it's amazing how you see things differently on a motorcycle, and you just feel different. Obviously, when you go for a walk, it's one thing. When you go for a pedal bike ride, you feel and notice different things. When it's funny how every aspect of transportation, you see things differently. And you could even be driving the same roads, but somehow it's just different. And this October, the colors, oh my gosh. I thought you have to go to East Coast to have the beautiful fall colors, but for some reason, I'm really enjoying them more than ever. I've been in Canada since 1998, and I don't know why, but this October, the colors have been so outstanding. It's been just amazing and just as good as the East Coast. It's just gorgeous.
And just imagine that first time you hop on that bike and you drive down to the Oregon coast.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm planning on it, hopefully, for next year. I can't wait to go down the Oregon coast. I hear it's one of the better or best rides in the States, for sure.
That's what I've heard as well.
Don't you love that it's candle and red wine season as well?
Well, to me, it's always red wine season.
Well, I haven't liked red wine now since the spring. When it gets warm, I tend to really go for the bubbly and the white, like the white wine or the blush mixed with a little Sprite or 7-Up.
Right.
Tend to. Yeah, and then I start loving red wine again in the fall.
Well, you know what? It's about that time, and yeah, and a book and a candle going. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Oh, so nice. I've got a stack of books. My computer is actually sitting on a stack of books that are in line for me to read. And so I got to get my library done this fall, too. That's on my task list.
Well, you got the walk-in closet done. Now you can work in a library.
Took 3 years to get that done, so, yeah. Then the library's next. So Richard's playing tonight his singer-songwriter stuff and his pedal, his loop station and everything. He hasn't played live in obviously a very long time, but he's playing at one of my favorite restaurants, the Broken Whisk in Agassiz tonight. The music starts at 8 p.m. I don't know if you can make it, but it's going to be fun.
Pretty cool. And, of course, I know that I haven't been to the Broken Whisk, but I know they have legendary milkshakes.
Okay, that's what? There's something wrong there. Okay, Curtis, you have got to go to the Broken Whisk. Oh, but yes, their milkshakes. They've got Wacky Wednesday, where they have the wackiest, most amazing, out-of-this-world, creative dish that they make, dinner. It's always something different. And I love going in, and I don't want to know what it is. I try not to look at their social media so I don't accidentally see it. That day, and I just say, they already know. They know Michele Wacky Wednesday. And if I get in there late, they're so sweet. They'll even save me one, knowing that I'll most likely go be there for my Wacky Wednesday. And then on Thursdays, they have the most extreme, creative, crazy, high as a tower burger that they always do a special different burger every Thursday. And then Fridays they do it's more of a seafood evening. They have their normal menu with all their stuff in it, but I love they have these theme days. Oh, it's so fun. The atmosphere is fantastic, and they are wonderful. Michael and Anais, who own it, and Chef Michael and the staff, they're all so great. I love it.
I'm going to have to make the trip out there. Wacky Wednesday sounds like my kind of style. So
totally. Oh, my gosh, you would love it. Okay, when you go out there, send me a photo of what you get, okay?
Done.
Okay, cool. So, there's a date to remember, and I want to make sure everyone knows that the Landowner Transparency Registration is coming up the end of November. So, information for pre-existing owners. You wonder, what is this Landowner Transparency Registration? And I didn't know about it. Well, it's really for corporations. So the requirements to file documents to the Landowner Transparency Registry, which is the LOTR, so a transparency report, must be completed and filed electronically in the MyLTSA by a legal professional. So some people who are existing registered owners of land as of November 30th, 2020, because I mentioned this on the radio show last year that it was coming up, it was starting to take place November 30th last year. Now, you're required to file a transparency report since then, but the transparency report must be filed by a legal professional. You know how they always give you a bit of a time, but November 30th this year is you must, or maybe you'll get in trouble. I don't know. It's the government. So which pre-existing owners must file a transparency report? Well, the only registered owners of land as of November 30th of last year who are required to file a transparency report are those who are a reporting body. So if you are not a reporting body, then you do not need to file a transparency report. Who is a reporting body? Well, the Landowner Transparency Act sets out who is that reporting body. So it's a person that will be a reporting body only if for pre-existing registered interest in land is one of the following. Okay, so it's either you own a corporation, you're owned by a partnership, or it's being held in trust. So the LOTA includes detailed legal definitions for corporations, partnerships, and trusts for the purpose of the requirement to file a transparency report. Most, but not all corporations, partners, and trusts are included. If you are not sure whether one of these applies to your circumstances, you really should contact a legal professional for advice. Don't take any chances. I have a personal real estate corporation and I have a holding company. And so, anything that you have in land, you really need a report. So contact your legal professional if you have any of the above type of thing. And, if you don't have a legal representative, Ishpreet Rai is out of RDM Lawyers, and he's a fantastic real estate and corporate lawyer, and he can help you. He's out of Abbotsford, again, through RDM Lawyers, and his name is Ishpreet Rai. Make sure you tell him that you heard about him on our real estate show. Curtis and I, we want to start something called What's Trending. So we're going to start a What's Trending on our show. And this first What's Trending, we wanted to mention the neatest, coolest addition to downtown Chilliwack's Five Corners. If you have not been there, it is really hip. It's really cool, and it's really now. It's called the 1881 District, and it's got the coolest coffee shops, like the Smoking Gun, my favorite coffee ever. Brandon and Brittany own it, and she did the decorating, and it is just you can see how they roast the coffee right there when you're waiting, like when you're getting your coffee. It's really neat. They have the Bow and Stern there, which is a great restaurant, really delicious, like mussels and oysters and food, and the Fieldhouse Brewing. Who doesn't love that? So it's a really cool area. So check it out. There is nothing for sale there, but there are rental units that they have above, and it's just a really great area. Check it out. But
they've really done an amazing job of revitalizing that area in the last few years, and they've really made it kind of cool and hip.
Oh, totally. And and I'm just so happy and proud because I love downtown. There's something about downtowns to me that, like Gastown and even downtown Mission I like, and downtown Abbotsford is I love it. That's why I bought my condo off the Montrose. And the downtown Chilliwack now is I instantly was like, I need to know if there's a for sale. I want to buy a condo here. I want to buy something downtown Chilliwack now, when I never ever would have thought I would ever want to buy something in downtown Chilliwack. But it's really changing. It's really great. And there's some older, I love the structures down there because it's got some really neat architecture, buildings down there as well. But love that new area.
No, absolutely. It's a very cool area for sure.
I know we only have a couple more minutes before we go on break, and I wanted to talk about moving costs that may surprise you when you get your final bill. And then when we come back from break, we're going to talk about the ABCs of buying a second home. So, moving costs. Now, I've got clients moving up to St. John right now, and you know what? You really got to think of all the moving costs, and don't just rely on a quick quote. So, packing up and moving, it is arduous enough, but making matters worse for many of us Canadians is that there are many additional charges that you're often unaware of. So, according to a survey by Big Steel Box, it's the moving and storage company, if you hadn't heard of them, 19% of respondents didn't realize that they would be charged by weight, of which 36% were not aware of how they would be charged before booking. 30% of respondents paid more money for their move than they were initially quoted. Some companies make you pay 100% upfront before they even come to your door. So be prepared for that. The average cost of moves climbed for a couple of reasons. Destination cities, which are rural, non-urban areas, increases the cost. And Big Box's director of operations, Brian Hawkins, said people have been leaving Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary because the pandemic taught us we can do our jobs from anywhere. So they would cash in on the housing market, of course, in bigger centers and move somewhere smaller. And we have definitely seen that. With I call it the exodus from the west head into the east. So whenever you take trucks off a key line, he says, trucks typically go where the population is. They have to get to you and back. So if there's an opportunity for them to provide a fixed price, that will set consumers up for a win. A lot of companies charge extra fees, including a storage fee if the truck has to wait a couple of days, even a fuel charge. And you were mentioning, Curtis, when you moved, that's kind of what you had to do, hey?
Yeah, we had to, when we moved from Prince George back to the lower mainland here, we had to put all of our stuff in storage for like a month. We thought maybe even longer, but we found a place pretty quick. But we still had to pay to store all of our stuff pretty much for a month.
Oh, my gosh. That's a whole month. That's a long time. And that was a while ago, and prices have skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, to give you a ballpark figure, it cost us over $6,000 to move here 15 years ago from Prince George. So in the province, it cost us $6,000, and that was 15 years ago.
And a lot of times, like, when you were thinking of moving, did you think it would cost that much until you actually sold and bought or planned the move, and then you called? It's usually one of those things you do last, after you sell, after you purchase. Then it's like, okay, let's call a moving company. But you really have to prepare your finances for it, especially if you're moving far away or at least not in the same town.
Yeah, and there's not much that's actually cheaper than what you think it's going to be. Most of it costs more.
Exactly. Oh. But so that is pretty much it. I just wanted to. He had mentioned a few other things about just be aware that costs are moving up all the time. Gas prices are moving up all the time. So definitely, if you're thinking about moving out of town, maybe one of the first when you're preparing your finances is to call the moving company to get some quotes and ask a lot of questions like, do you charge by weight? Do you charge by days or whatever you have to ask?
Nope, sounds good. I think that's good sound advice.
We try to give sound advice here on the Cummins Group Real Estate Show. That's
right. Now, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor and as a real estate expert, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this. Segment 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with the one and only Michele Cummins. Now, I guess segment 2 here, we're talking the ABCs. I think I got those right, ABC, yeah, of buying a second home.
The alphabet, the American alphabet. Yes, the ABCs of buying a second home. And, if you have some extra money, or if you're able to take an equity pool out of your property, a home equity line of credit, or there's many different ways. Maybe you partner with a family member if you trust them, or really good friends. But you should think about buying a second home in Canada. For one, the pandemic has induced a lifestyle change among people, with the majority option to stay at home if they have no important business outside. A second home, a cottage in the country, a cabin on the lake, a ski chalet up on the mountain, these are things that would be wonderful to have. So why not? You're still investing in Canada, which is proven. For example, it will provide a much-needed respite from your regular home that has become a place of work as well. Think of that. All working from home. Now, do you feel like you're working when you're at home? Well, maybe you do. Maybe now you're always home and you just need to get out, no matter where you live, no matter how wonderful it is. You just need a second place. You need to get away sometimes. So, and if you love your home and you work from home and you still feel like it's home and you never feel like you want to leave, well, this second home just forms a great investment, because as a Canadian, we are allowed a second home without it being taxed on, or vacancy tax, or larger taxes at all when you purchase. Even you don't even have to do more down payment. You're allowed 2 insured mortgages in Canada of 5% down. So if you put 5% down on your primary residence and you're thinking, a second home, that means I got to put 20% down. Well, no, that's not the case. Unless it's land only, or unless there's no, it's off grid. So, for instance, I do have Dominic Lake Getaway for sale. It's 10 acres on Dominic Lake. It's wonderful. It's you annually rent out trailer pads. There's also a lodge and a couple cute cabins, but it's off grid. There's generators for power, and there's water, but it's not potable, so not drinkable. So banks consider that, for them, they only want to give you 50% mortgage on it, right? So you'll need 50% on something like that. So there is some slight differences, but for all purposes, a regular house or cottage or cabin or something on property or condo, you are allowed 5% down on 2 mortgages. So this is a great opportunity to do that. So buying a second home overview. Real estate is generally a good investment option. It can provide you with a passive, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a realtor. It can provide you with a passive income, and it can be a long-term investment. It is a long-term investment. Buy and hold. It's always a good idea. If you have the money, buying a second home is really a good move. Money will always be the most important consideration. So can you afford a second mortgage? Unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars lying around, you might have to take out a second mortgage to afford a second home. So how are you going to cover the mortgage? There's always financing available. And two, even if, let's say, this Dominic Lake Getaway, this type of property where maybe you need 50% down because it's land only and you just want to camp there. You just want land only on the Harrison River and you just want to camp there. Well, you are allowed that, but you'd only be able to mortgage 50%. But there's private financing available. There's getting together with partners who share that, right? There's ways of doing it, even with 0% down or zero money down, for you. There's mortgage brokers who could help you calculate how much money you could afford on a second house. So don't be fearful. Don't be fearful of the unknown. Just ask. Ask the questions. There's always new incentives. There's always new ways. There's always creative ways. And it helps guide you and set you up. So maybe you can't do it right now for what you want as a second home, but maybe you can in a year. And you're thinking, I won't be able to do that for years and years. Well, no. If you had somebody to guide you, it might only take 6 months or a year to be able to do it, or you might be surprised and be able to do it tomorrow. So it's something you really need to think about and analyze. Fortunately, mortgage interest rates are extremely low at the moment due to the pandemic. However, it may not be for long, as the First Canadian Bank recently hiked mortgage rates from 1.99 to 2.29 in some cases. However, then some have gone down. And I just saw a sign driving by a few days ago an HSBC, and they are advertising that they have a 5-year variable rate at, catch this, Curtis, 0.99%. 0.99%. That's less than 1%.
Wow, that's nuts.
It really is. And so it's possible. So if you're looking for a mortgage broker to help you, please contact Alex Kotai. Alex Kotai, he's amazing. And tell him you heard about him from our radio show. But Alex Kotai is with Your Mortgage Source. He's out of Abbotsford. He's amazing. He's done mortgages for me and my clients. He can help you. So experts believe that some banks may follow suit along with, the raising, because they can raise the fixed term rate. They are allowed to do that. Again, Bank of Canada has said they will not raise the base rate until probably 2023. But the banks can raise their term rate. So keep that in mind. So be prepared. Do it, and it's so rewarding. Just make the step if you've been thinking about it. If it's been on your mind. If you're wanting to invest, you want a second home. So now is a really good time to be buying that second home. In Canada, because of the low mortgage rates, you don't know if it will be the same, next year, or the year after. All of a sudden, it's like, I'll wait. And then when you do want to do it, now, what if the interest rates are much higher? But if you can get in at a low rate, then that's wise. So, but what is at stake, you wonder? So your finances, of course, are at stake. Of course, while a second home may be a good investment, you have to make sure that you will continue to be living comfortably while financing another property. You don't want to be constantly having nightmares at night that, the bank is over your head. You don't want nightmares. You want to be able to sleep soundly and peacefully. You don't want to go hungry just for the sake of making an investment. So yes, the investment will have a payoff. It will. It doesn't come in an instant, though. My beach house, the first year it didn't pay for itself the first year. The second year it did. The third year, wow, it gets better. You have to spend a lot more before you start earning from a second home. It does take time to establish it, whether you rent it out as an Airbnb or vacation property or however you set it up. But what are the advantages of a second home? So buying a second home is not a necessity. However, it comes with some benefits. Number one, it's a good investment. I know I've said that a few times. But it is. It's actually a great investment. If you rent it out, you could get a passive income. You could renovate it and sell it for so much more than you paid for it, including the renovation expenses. Generally, the real estate properties, they appreciate, which makes it a really good long-term investment. If you're renting it out, know that rents tend to increase over a period of time. Now, we're not talking annual leases or like month to month. We're talking, vacation like Airbnb. So it's different. You're not under the Residential Tenancy Act when you're doing an Airbnb. So this means that your income would also increase. And by the way, then you are using it as a business and you have tax write-off. So keep that in mind. Number two, vacation home. So that's another obvious incentive and advantage. The pandemic is still ongoing here now. You're bound to spend more time at home for some time. Who knows how long? But having a second home would allow you to take a breather from your stressful life. And, if things go back to, what they were before, or, what if you never, though, go back to, physically the brick and mortar building to go to work? What if you continue staying at home for work? So especially that secondary property is just a way to get out and just enjoy it. So number three advantage, new primary home. Instead of buying a second home for investment, you could use it as your main home. I've always said your first investment's your primary residence, and the second should be your vacation property, and then maybe, going into so many other investments. Oh, I love it. There's so much you can do, but know what you need and what's good for you, and you will go far and you'll be successful. So things to consider in buying a second home. Now that you have the basics of buying a second home in Canada, it's time to take a look at the important factors in buying another property. So the type of property. What type of property should you buy as a second home? So I always say, what kind of, what do you enjoy? What are your hobbies? What are you going to enjoy in a second home? And then really look into, there's help in finding a property that you're looking for. There is some sites online you can research to see how popular the area is for vacationing or tourists, and what the going rates are for properties if you're going to rent it out. If you want a rental stream coming in, and if you want to pay for have it pay for itself, then there's sites you can look into. So, and list of expenses. So be familiar with the list of expenses when you buy a second home to begin with. Of course, you've got the appraisal fee, you've got a home inspection fee, you've got usually a land survey fee. Sometimes you have that. Obvious legal fees for conveyancing, mortgage default insurance. So you may need that, obviously, if you're putting, 5% down or less than 20% down. Mortgage, life insurance, you want that protection. You want title insurance, only a few $100s. Home insurance, obviously, for secondary homes. Property insurance, land transfer tax when you purchase, and utilities. Think of that. You may need to provide Wi-Fi. You're going to need hydro, this and that. And then if it's new, then, there may be a new home warranty if you build your own little cabin or something. But just those are some things to consider. I hope that explained the ABCs of buying a second property. And if you have questions, please reach out to us and just ask anytime. Because, our information's all over the place. If you Google our names, you will find us. Curtis, I wanted to talk about a brand new listing of mine.
All right. Well, what do you got?
I got something that just hit the market yesterday, and it's on glorious Mount Woodside. And talking about a secondary home, this would be great for anybody who just wants something within 30 minutes to an hour away, maybe from their place. It's where the eagles soar. I'm telling you, Mount Woodside. It's in the community of Harrison Highlands. It is a 1.5 story, and it's in a cul-de-sac, and the mountain views are, the air, you breathe so peacefully out there. The air is great. It is on for only $815. It is just over a 6,000 square foot lot. It's got a brick-laid driveway. I love the driveway. And it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom. The master is on the main floor, and it's got a walk-in closet and a beautiful ensuite with a soaker tub and a shower and double sinks and even a toilet closet. So, it's a fantastic property, just over 2,000 square feet. And, again, only $815,000. It's custom built, and that just hit yesterday. So I'd love to show that to anybody who's looking. It would be a great secondary home. It would be great, like maybe you're going to retire in a few years and you want to get into the market now for that retirement home, or you just want to move out and move where you play, live where you play, like I did a few years ago. Okay, then I got a new listing that just came out Thursday, so a couple days ago, and it's off Willow Street in Mission, and we are looking at multiple offers Monday at 4 p.m., so be aware of that. But come out this weekend and have a look at it. If you're looking and you want to place a mission, it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, 6,500 square foot lot. It is built in 1976. It is just over 1,800 square feet. It's a basement entry style, and you could possibly put an in-law or summer kitchen, like a suite downstairs. It's a single garage. But this is in a cul-de-sac as well, and it's on for $810,000. So that's a brand new one. And you know what? The listings are down right now. There's not a lot out there. So those are two fantastic ones for you. And then I've got coming soon next week. Keep an eye out on a property off Dunsmuir Street in Mission, and that again is just over 6,000 square foot lot. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom home, and that one is almost 2,500 square feet. And so that's coming out next week. Oh, the quote of the week.
I've been waiting. I'm like, she's got to have a quote now. And then she kind of paused, and I'm like, what do you mean you're pausing? There's got to be a quote.
Yes. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's profound. I'm gonna have to like take that in for a while. That one's that one's got me thinking. Woo, okay.
It's from American Cuban French diarist. Anais, if I'm saying her name correctly, or Anais, but Anais Nin, N-I-N.
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
She's a very deep thinker.
Obviously. All right, if people want more deep thoughts from you or just information about real estate, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.